Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be asking a very simple question, but one that is very complex to talk about, and that is World of Tanks dying? Now, the definition of a game dying is subjective to what point of view and opinion you're talking about, because some people see the term dying as in a game's losing its majority of popularity, and nobody's really playing it anymore, you can't get in the battles, and it's dead. That is the textbook definition of dying. But I see the term dying as in the game is not gaining popularity and is slowly losing popularity. And World of Tanks definitely fits into that definition. If you were to get a chart of how many or what percentage of new people are still playing World of Tanks a month or 2 months after they've downloaded the game, I guarantee it is probably one of the lowest percentages of returning players out there compared to any other game, compared to Fortnite, compared to CSGO, anything like that. And I can give you a few reasons why, which we're going to be talking about in today's video. So in my opinion, I do think World of Tanks is dying. I don't think it's dying very fast. I mean, Wargaming has had record-breaking profits this year of $7 billion. But to be fair, they've also sold more crates this year than they ever have, so it kind of makes sense. And that's kind of just the normal as it is. We've already seen more crates just in the past few months than we've seen ever come into World of Tanks. And yeah, it's probably because they want to make a lot of money. So let's break into the question of why I think World of Tanks is dying. As I said, I mainly believe it's because the majority of newer players coming into this game are very small. And the amount of those players actually staying and, deciding to learn the mechanics of this game is probably less than probably 5%, to be real. Well, let's start off with the major reasons why. A, World of Tanks is pay to win. Wargaming says this is a free-to-play MMO, but let's be honest, it's not free-to-play. You gain so many advantages for spending money on this game that it's not even funny. For example, World of Tanks Premium account alone gives you the ability to not only make more very needed credits, but it also gives you the ability to get more XP, which allows you to grind faster. And sure, you don't need that. Technically, free-to-play means that you could get XP, but the credits part you definitely need. And the other thing that a lot of people forget about is the fact that with World of Tanks Premium account, you can remove 2 maps from the game that you don't want to play on. Let's say I'm driving a mouse. I can easily remove Prokhorovka and Malinovka right from the battle queue. And because of that, I will have a flat advantage over people that can't remove those maps because I no longer have to suffer driving my Super Heavy against 2 artillery that are constantly spamming me from an ELC spawning me in mid. That's already a huge advantage for just spending a couple dollars a month on this game. And when you pair that with getting World of Tanks Plus, which allows you to remove a 3rd map, yeah, that alone is already insane. In my opinion, the most underappreciated resource is what I should say, is credits. Credits are the hardest thing to get, not only as a newer player, but in general. I would say I'm fairly good at World of Tanks. On my press account that I've been using, I'm averaging over 4,000 damage in tier 10, which puts me in the top of NA players. And I have messed around with this account for about 200 games, but before this, I played on my main account, where I didn't have infinite XP to have the field mods instantly unlocked, where I didn't have bond equipment, bounty equipment, and the best equipment to my personal, capabilities every single tank I equipped. And I also didn't have an infinite pool of credits. And when you don't have infinite credits, you're not running gold ammo. This WZ-113 GFT replay we're taking a look at here from World of Tanks replays has basically loaded only gold. It has 5 AP shells, which is nothing. If you are a free-to-play player, I'm sorry, but there's just no way that you're going to be able to stand a chance against a player like this who is running all bounty equipment, has food on his tank, double large repair kit. So that's 60,000 credits in just equipment, or not equipment, but consumables he has alone here every single game if he uses them. And when you pair that with the fact that he's also spamming gold, easy. Every single game this player battles, he is losing credits. Guaranteed. If you were to look at how many credits he probably loses in a session, it's probably close to about 200,000, maybe for 2 or 3 games in a tier 10. That's the same case for me. When I play my tier 10s on my press account, I'm easily losing upwards of 100 to 200,000 credits after I play 5 or 6 battles in my tier 10s, and it's because you're constantly shooting gold, you're using the best repair kits, it's just the way of life. If you're a free-to-play player, you're going to be using the crappy repair kits, you're going to be firing standard ammo, and because of this, you're basically saying veterans that have played this game longer, that have more credits, have a flat advantage over me. They have better track repair times, they have better consumables, and they basically get to shoot gold where I don't. I think, personally, that is really stupid, and it doesn't really make sense to me why you are rewarded so much for spending money on this game. It should be that you get an equal advantage as a player who doesn't spend money and a player as you do, but spending money should give you the advantage of grinding faster and not having to worry about certain things here and there. But when it comes to World of Tanks, it's basically just kind of a pay-to-win advantage. If you don't have premium account, I seriously don't know how you're supposed to earn credits in this game, because it's tricky for me alone without premium account, or with premium account on. I have talked to many friends who have ground, especially, you know, you have to realize that newer players don't really know what they're doing all too much. I just don't understand how you're supposed to make credits. It's kind of insane. You're almost forced to buy a premium tank. And premium tanks aren't cheap. They're $50 for an Object 252 at the cheapest bundle or the majority of tier 8s, and you don't even know what you're getting. You know, if you're new to the game, you don't know if you're getting a great tank or what's what, depending on your skill level. These are all things that you have to keep in mind that newer players are going to be tricky with. They don't know what they're doing, and nobody wants to drop $50 on a game they've just got so that they can just get credits to grind down the line. You not only have to spend credits on the modules for each tank that you research, but you need credits for the tank you research themselves. You need credits to put consumables on, ammunition, to repair them. I think that if you don't have premium account in 2024, there's no way you're playing this game. And you know, Quickie Baby's like, well, I've got plenty of time to earn premium account on my Plays for Free account, but yes, remember that this is basically his job, and that the average player definitely does not have the amount of time he does to get this level of premium account if they work a job or they're doing something else. So because of that, I think that's one of the major reasons there alone. Grinding up the tree is almost impossible for free-to-play, and nobody wants to spend money, which takes a lot of people out of the game instantly. And it gets worse, because then you arrive to crew skills. And I think crew skills are one of the worst thing in the game. Wargaming just made crew skills a bit better, but they're still awful in my opinion. The way crew skills work is essentially when, obviously, you get a new tank, you now have, with the update, you now have a crew that is automatically trained. So, let's say, for example, you just got your hands on a Tier 8 BZ-166. The tank you get is going to have a fully trained 100% crew. However, there's going to be 0 crew skills on the vehicle. And what that means is that you're going to have to probably play a good, I don't know, 200-300 games in that tank to get maybe a 7-8 skilled crew. 200 battles in that tank. That's insane. And then once you're finally done grinding that vehicle, you then have to swap that crew onto the next tier vehicle. And the way that works is you're going to have less efficiency on that crew until you play enough battles to bring that efficiency back up to full. Why aren't you just able to swap your crews on tanks without losing efficiency? It's something I've never understood. Why are you punished for grinding up the next tank? You should just be able to take your crew from your tier 8, put it onto your tier 9, and not have to grind the crew skills. I don't think grinding crew skills is a huge problem, but it needs to be better. On World of Tanks Blitz, for example, crew skills are a universal thing. So we can see here that this is how the World of Tanks Blitz crew skills work. And essentially, the games you play just unlock crew skills for every single vehicle. So if I play a couple thousand games, I'm going to unlock light tank crew skills, and any tank I play is now going to have that crew skill unlocked permanently. And I think World of Tanks should be like this too. I feel like the more you play the game, you should get crew skills unlocked, and you don't have to constantly swap them off. I mean, you could be playing this game for years, and a new line gets released into the game, and if you don't have a crew ready for that line, you're basically going to have to grind it as if you're a brand new player, and it's really stupid. So again, it's just one of the major reasons why I think a lot of newer players quit the game, is because of the fact that crew skills are just absolutely painful for them, and trying to figure them out is very, very tedious and annoying. But it gets even worse, because then you have to add into the fact of the complications of this game. Shell velocity, how RNG works, the hidden mechanics like bushes, Artillery, you got to learn positions where artillery aren't going to absolutely nuke you, and just in general, artillery are incredibly annoying. There's the fact that there's really no tutorials for this game that Wargaming has themselves. Like, why doesn't Wargaming have map reviews on each and every map in the game, and where you should drive your tank destroyers and things like that? I don't really know, but these are a lot of things that, again, don't help the newer player base. You know, if you play a game like Fortnite, there's a billion tutorials out there that help you learn the game, and the great thing about Fortnite is that it's super simple to understand. You're just shooting at other people, you're grabbing weapons, and that's about it. But in a game like this, there are so many complexities. I would easily say that World of Tanks is one of the most complex games in the entire gaming market right now. The fact that you have to learn how bush mechanics work, spotting mechanics, what vehicles have certain view range, their DPM, penetration values, the armor that you're aiming at, where to shoot. Everything like this is absolutely massive. And yes, while it comes with experience, you still need to be able to learn these values. And it has taken me multiple years to learn every value in the game, and I guarantee that's the case for any new player as well. And not everybody wants to put months and months of excruciating thinking into how to learn each and every mechanic about this game. It's great for the tactical commanders like me and you that want to learn about every nook and cranny of the game that it has going for it, and it can be massively beneficial when you learn them. But again, if you want a younger audience, which is what you want joining your game, a casual audience to start joining World of Tanks so that they can get better and experienced over time, you need to start the game off simple. And right now, I believe that World of Tanks isn't simple at all. And it gets worse. It just keeps getting worse. You know, you break into like new lower tier tanks. Let's say that you're a tier 2 or a tier 3 player. You could run into a player with 90,000 games that's just seal clubbing over and over. And for some reason, lower tier vehicles have ridiculous DPM. You can literally kill a full health tier 4 or 3 within about 10 to 20 seconds of shooting, because for some reason tier 4s and 5s have upwards of 3,000 DPM if you run them kitted out properly, 2,000 DPM. I mean, that's more than the majority of tier 8 heavies have. Why do tier 5s have that much DPM? There are certain tier 5s that can one-shot you. There are tanks like the KB220, which are just complete seal clubbing tanks. And again, if you're a new player, I would say easily you're going to be running into a lot of seal clubbers, which, grinding up the trees, is going to be incredibly annoying. You combine all of these things together, and it's quite simple to understand why newer players are not sticking with the game. I have a friend who knows some connections inside of Wargaming, and he told me that only about 5% of the players that start playing this game new actually end up sticking through it. Compare that to about the 20 to 25% of players that stick through Fortnite. That is such a bad metric of players that are sticking through. And out of those 5%, how many new players are finding this game? And how many people are interested in tank battles? It shows you just the little amount of people that are joining this game currently. I would say the major reason Wargaming is making so much money is mainly due to the whales like me, who support this game by spending a lot of money on deals here and there, purchasing the new tanks when they get released. There's no way newer players that are coming into this game are dropping hundreds of dollars every single new tank release. It's just not the case. And that's the problem. That's why I personally believe that World of Tanks is definitely dying, at least as of right now, is because of a lot of these things. And you know what the funniest part is? We haven't even talked about two of the biggest glaring issues yet, which we're going to break into right now. First of all, we have equipment, bond equipment, and bounty equipment. This player right in front of you is running 3 things of bounty equipment. As a new player, how are you supposed to get that equipment? You can't. And that's just a flat disadvantage. You know, a lot of YouTubers have talked about this in the past. Quickie Baby's talked about it in the past, and I agree with him here. Why are skilled players and veterans allowed to use bond equipment and experimental equipment, bounty equipment, that gives you flat advantages over the base equipment? It makes no sense. You are giving the skilled players more advantages over the players that aren't skilled. And it makes no sense. It actually makes like 0 sense. You're just giving, again, the players that don't know how to play this game and have literally just a flat disadvantage on DPM, view range, and everything compared to a veteran. Personally, I think it's kind of stupid that Wargaming is giving people that spend more time on this game better equipment to then outplay the people that don't know how to play this game. That doesn't make sense. yes, I understand that you should always try to support the veterans you have in this game. But I also think that you should try and support the newer players you have in this game. You shouldn't be giving one side of the player base an advantage over the other, because that's just stupid and it creates an imbalance. In front of us, we have a Juno, and it's completely stock right now, apart from all the modules being upgraded. And we are going to compare the level of DPM, view range, and everything this vehicle has now when we put on a basic free-to-play loadout compared to if I put on bond equipment and what a veteran who might want to seal club down at tier 6 has. So what do we have in terms of concealment? 5%. We have 360 meters of view range. Well, actually, let's put on our consumables. So if you are a free-to-play player, you're probably going to be running something like a small first aid kit, small that, and probably an automatic fire extinguisher. It doesn't really matter what we put here because we're just going to be putting the basic cheap things. There you go. That's kind of what your free-to-play loadout looks like. For equipment, you're most likely going to be looking at something like basic improved hardening in that slot. We're going to have maybe a gun rammer, and let's just do something basic like, how about improved vents, okay? So that's 700,000 credits. We've already had the spend there. We've got everything kitted out, okay? So this is our crew done. So this is what a free-to-play account looks like if you're new to the game and you've just got your hands on a tier 6 heavy. So what are we looking at here? We got 368 meters of view range, 5.24% camo, top speed of 35, we got 1160 HP, and about 2240 DPM. Okay, let's compare this loadout to what it's like if you simply just swap off this rammer here. We take this rammer and we go over to improved and we swap it off for a bond rammer. There we go, we apply that. Obviously I'm going to take this equipment off the tank after we're done with this video, but I just want to see exactly what the advantage we can gain here is. So we went from 2200 DPM to 2367, but we're not done. Also, if you got a lot of bonds, you can just put on orderly ammo rack. So we're about 200 more damage per minute just there alone. But we're not done yet. We're also going to put food on this vehicle, and we're going to have a large repair kit, and we're going to have a large first aid kit. A lot of people don't realize this, but the large repair kits give you flat advantages. If you read the permanent buffs, it is minus 5% to stun duration and 15% to crew protection from injuries, and a large repair kit does 10% modular repair speed, where the base repair kits and med kits don't do anything. So again, just a little bit of a flat advantage there for spending more credits. So our DPM is now 2,550, so that's 300 more damage per minute with the loadout that I'm currently running. I'm not going to put more bond stuff on it, but I could do bond improved hardening and give us even more HP if I really wanted to, more track repair speed and everything like that. We also have field modification that you can put on this vehicle that you won't even have the ability to unlock as a new player. So if you're just skipping down the line, we can get 7% traverse speed, we can get better aiming circle size, we could have an additional 3% view range added to our tank, so we could have 400 meters of view range on this vehicle. It's just a flat advantage. And we haven't even put crew on this vehicle yet. I can very easily make my way over to the crew member, and I can put like, I'll just swap a tier 1 crew on this vehicle very quickly. Here we go. We'll put this on. And do I have any other low tier crew? Here we go. I'm just trying to put all the low tier crew members on this tank because obviously I'm not going to play anything that's super low tier. So let's see, what last? Do we have any like tier 2s or something? There's got to be something super low tier here. And now we're going to retrain the crew with gold because obviously that's what you do as a whale. So now our tank is fully equipped. We've got a whole crew set up on it. Our DPM is 2,600. That is a 400 DPM advantage from what the vehicle originally had. We have all these buffs here, 5% better on movement dispersion. Our view range, if we scroll down, is now 422 meters. We have 10% camo instead of 5%. We've got much better track repair speed. We got a better power to weight, off-road driving. Do you see what I'm talking about here? How, as a new player, you are just flat in a disadvantage. This tank equipped will beat a non-equipped Juno any day of the week. And you'd think, you know, as a new player, you think, oh, look, I finally got all the modules for this tank. Oh, I'm finally kitted out and I'm ready to go. But then some veteran rolls around with the same tank and has all these crew skills on the vehicle that he grabbed from his tier 10, and he's grinding down the line, and he has all this stupid equipment that he has on the tank because he's 8 billion bonds he's already gotten. It is literally a completely unfair advantage you have playing with stuff like this. I personally believe you shouldn't even be able to put bond equipment on tanks lower than tier 8. because I don't think that you should be able to have an advantage over lower tier vehicles. I think that bond equipment should only be for higher tiers. And we haven't even talked about the gold round yet. I mean, just spamming gold in this tank, you're going to run out of credits like crazy, and you obviously have much more penetration. You've got 208 mils a pen versus 150. That is literally a 60 millimeter pen difference there. I don't know. These are just the reasons why World of Tanks is flat pay to win, and it's some of the major reasons why Wargaming doesn't get new players into the game, because they favor veterans over newer players. And as I said, that is fully up to them, and you know, there's a lot of veterans out there that will say, well, we should get rewarded for playing the game more, but you shouldn't be rewarded in ways that give you a flat advantage to people that are new. How is it fair? Like, anybody that thinks that it's good that Wargaming rewards veterans by giving them better advantages, how is it fair that you have a better advantage as a player that already understands the mechanics over people that don't? That doesn't make sense to me at all. And then we have the final reason, at least in my opinion, to why World of Tanks doesn't have new players joining the game, and that is a very simple fact. It's called +2, -2. Let's say I just got my hands on the Pershing, and I've got the stock gun on it, so I have a total of 180 mils a pen on my premium, and my standard has 130 mils a pen. Please tell me what I'm supposed to do in my Pershing against a tier 10 medium or heavy. There's nothing you can do. Tier 10s are balanced to fight Tier 10s. Tier 9s are balanced to fight Tier 9s. And Tier 8s are balanced to fight Tier 8s. And it doesn't make sense to me why in a Tier 8 you're going up against a vehicle that's supposed to go up against Tier 10s. You have less DPM, less penetration, less armor, and sometimes less mobility. You have less view range. Doesn't really make much sense to me. I understand that differences in matchmaking can be fun. I understand +1, -1, and I think if the game was set at +1, -1, a lot of people would start playing the game again. In fact, a lot of my friends that I've talked to and tried convincing to play the game with me have said the major reason why they don't like the game is the fact that they're grinding down a new tank like a stock IS-3 or something, and then after their 5th or 6th game and the honeymoon period is over on their tank, boom, they're thrown into a tier 10 battle. Seriously, what are you supposed to do in like a stock IS-3 against a tier 10? Nothing. You're going to have to load gold every single battle, which means you're earning less credits, you're not penetrating what you're shooting at, you're dealing no damage, and in return you're getting hit by arty, you're getting hit by tanks that deal triple your damage. It just doesn't make sense. And again, it's another reason why the game struggles. You don't see, you know, the YouTubers talking about, oh, the stock grind, because for the most part they don't have to deal with the stock grind. And that's the problem here, is that it's the +2, -2, the stock grind, the fact that you can't make credits, and the fact that this game is pay to win, combined all into this little ball of just stupid. And then you arrive to the last thing that we're going to talk about, which is overpowered tanks. Make your way over to China, and we have this vehicle, the BZ-176. Do I need to say anything else, or can I rest my argument here? This tank is completely pay to win, and a lot of people own it. And the BZ-176 is literally able to just obliterate anything in front of it. You know, let's say you're in a pretty healthy tier 7 medium tank. Oh, I'm sorry, not anymore. You just lost 800 health because a heavy that you can't physically pen got hulled down with its 10 degrees of gun depression and crapped on you. What are you supposed to do against it? Nothing. You don't. The BZ is a completely overpowered tank, and it's dominating the matchmaker right now. And, you know, it's not just the BZ, it's just the majority of tanks that are kind of OP. You know, you make your way over to something like a Minnow, and this tank's so OP that Wargaming's nerfing the armor on the hatch. But previously, what are you supposed to do against this vehicle hull down, especially as a new player trying to figure out weaknesses? You get up to tier 8 or you get to tier 9, then you go up against a Minnow? Yeah, good luck. I'll watch you try to pen this thing. You won't. You can't pen it anywhere. And in return, the thing's got 3k DPM and it's stopping you at every single corner. Oh, you made one misplay? Darn, get HE'd by a 4005 and die for full health. I have gotten my fair share of full health kills from a 4005. It's quite annoying when it happens. Shouldn't really exist in my opinion, but it does. It's all these things paired together. You've got overpowered premiums, which usually only the veterans are buying because they're the guys that spend money compared to the newer players. And when you pair that into the fact that everything else is just this concoction of... really, if you think about it, World of Tanks is a completely unbeginner-friendly game. This is probably one of the least beginner-friendly games out there on the market. And it's why the popularity of this game, and it's why a lot of, you know, younger people you talk to don't know about it. And that's the problem. The younger audience is who you want playing this game, because if you don't have a young audience of newer people coming in, then your audience is just getting older and older, and as they get jobs and as they get lives, they're going to stop playing this game as much. And that's what's happening to World of Tanks, in my opinion, is slowly over time, less people are coming into the game and more people are leaving. And Wargaming needs to change things if they want it to be better. Let's talk about the final area of today's video, which is how to make the game better. First of all, very simple. Make it so crew skills, you don't have to constantly kill yourself grinding them, as I said earlier. Make it so that either crew skills are universal, and you just unlock them as you play the game, playing a certain amount of battles, and once you unlock them, they're for every single tank that you play, so you don't need to suffer. The other way to fix the crew skill department is to make it so that swapping crews on tanks does not lower their efficiency. That would make it way nicer, and it would make the game actually somewhat enjoyable for newer players. That's the first thing. That could be very easy. The second thing is much better tutorials helping people understand map positions, spotting mechanics, things like that. I mean, Wargaming has some decent tutorials out there, but they're so old, and you have to literally dig to find them. They should be plastered right in the video. As a new player, when you start, it should say, watch this, get some gold for watching it, things like that. The other things that we should talk about are the fact that equipment should be limited to what tier you play. You should not be able to run bond equipment on tanks lower than tier 8. People shouldn't be able to seal club, in my opinion. If you have over 5,000 battles, you should not be put into the same matchmaker as people under 5,000 battles. These are all things that should be put into place. Something I also forgot to mention is the fact that you literally get rewarded again as being a skilled player. You know, vehicles like the 2790 or the VK72 are literally just flat better than the majority of tech tree tanks. And like, why are you giving skilled players these vehicles? Doesn't make sense to me. T95 FE2 on Chieftain, just again, you know, classic examples of Wargaming favoring the skilled players over the players that really need help. I think these are the major reasons why World of Tanks is dying, and I think there are definitely some points that certain people will disagree with, but overall as a whole, I don't think you can really disagree with this. I think these are just common sense reasons. The game is pay to win. You can't earn enough credits to sustain shooting gold ammo to equip your tank properly. It's stupid, and because of that, skilled players just prevail, and whales prevail, and the people that join the game that don't want to spend money get left in the dust. That's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.